What's up, everybody? Back again, Warp Charge Gaming Live. I'm at Battlegrounds here with Brad, and Zach isn't far away from here. And we're all joining you together to talk about Infinity, the game, once again. And it is Sunday, as we do it each Sunday, every other Sunday, as best as we can, at 8:30 to 9:30. Hopefully we can get our other fellow cohort, Chris, to join us soon. He's out there in the etherwebs. And it's been a fun last couple weeks. What we like to do on this show is talk about things that are evolving and going around in our local community, as well as what we see going on in the communities at large. And just in general, talk about tabletop wargaming and particularly Infinity. And it's a glorious thing to talk about because what a great game, my friends.
Yes, it is.
Over the last couple of weeks, we've been able to put a couple of bat reps up on the channel, and that's been a lot of fun. Brad and I had an awesome game of Assassins versus Morats, which was that yesterday, Brad, or the day before that?
It was yesterday.
Yeah, there's been a lot of games going on pretty regularly. But did you get a chance to catch that one at all, Zach?
I have watched the first 5 minutes.
Okay, it was interesting, and my favorite part is that I was able to surprise Brad with, I brought 4 combat jump parachute units, and even though I brought Morats, a sectorial, I didn't bring any link teams. We were playing countermeasures, so it's a strange mission, you know. I
love that mission. It gets a lot of poo-poo. People either love it or hate it. I love it.
I think it's a lot of fun, yeah. And I thought, even Biotech 4 is a lot of fun, but it's different. You need to build for it. And I think
that one you're just wrong. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah, you don't like Biotech 4?
No. Sane people don't like Biotech 4.
That's funny.
I like it and I love it.
I said sane people don't like Biotech 4.
I mean,
reasonable. I do enjoy the mission. I think what I enjoy, and this is a fun subject in general, is just building a list to the mission. And like if we look at the core rulebook missions, they were very light-handed on the necessity to build something specific.
Yeah.
You know, if you just built a general list, because something that's really has been burnt into my head since you said it, Zach, is over the last couple of weeks we had Thanksgiving and general holidays. During that time period, I studied my butt off on preparing for this tournament that's going to go down from that Vol SC is launched. It's a global tournament, has about over 90 participants in it, and there's only like 15 people from the U.S. on there. It was pretty cool to see that. Small fish in a big pond kind of thing. But I was preparing he released all 5 missions, and it was after watching The Queen's Gambit on Netflix, I got very tournament hungry. I don't know if anyone else has caught that yet, but it's a chess tournament show, movie, and I got like obsessed with wanting to do something. I was like, TTS, let's go. And I had a blast spending my holiday weekends studying to try to pick a faction. For me as a newer player, you guys have tried several different factions over the years and owned several armies. I started out with Ariadna and N3, particularly the Tartary Corps. And hey, I see the flea out there saying hello, hello. And I played that a lot, and I couldn't really imagine playing something else. And then now, over this, with N4's help and just kind of evolving as a player and growing with more models to have, I'm jumping between lots of different factions, and that created a new experience for me, preparing what I wanted to play for an event by not just picking what do I have available within inside of my models or my army, but now which army do I want to best play for these missions. You know, like when you look at an event pack for an event, you play 3 different armies, one of those armies might be better than the others based on your play style or your models you own or whatever, you know. So that was pretty fun, and I got to really get intimate with Hakislam. I started out with really comparing Rama and QK as the ones that I thought I was going to go to. And because both Zach and Brad are now playing Assassins a lot this year, particularly Brad on Assassins right now, I'm trying to stay away from them and be different and play QK, play Rama, whatever. I think the Assassins are probably the best sectorial out of Hakislam. I don't know if we would all agree on that. I think we do. I just think the impersonators, the quadrant control capability, the strategic deploy Yara Haddad link team. There's just a few different. The Shujay, the 4 deploy +8 -6 mimetism infiltrator, or 4 deploy +8.
4 deployment 8.
Yeah, that thing's awesome. You know, and there's just a few exclusive units in assassins, and especially when you're playing area control missions, that they seem to excel over some of the other sectorials. But the thing about what I came to after all that study was vanilla. I fell in love with, particularly that I could have all kind of eat the cake and eat it, have the cake and eat it too.
Yep.
And then on top of that, Zulika, that motorcycle profile, that honestly, because that's exclusive to the vanilla, that took me head over heels. That thing is such
Gabkar Khanate, whenever they decide to build that.
Oh yeah, I don't. I just know that the lady Zulika, she has double burst in CC.
The Coom Riders, Halka, which don't exist anymore, Hunzakoots, they're all part of the quote unquote Gabkar Khanate, which we're hoping is the next sectoral for Hakislam whenever that
would
comes.
be awesome.
Yeah, I would definitely probably pick that up.
I've been wanting a biker gang, and I thought
Yeah.
JSA was going to be the way to go with that.
Yeah.
But honestly, the Coom bikers do it really well too.
I've loved the Coom bikers, and they've just gotten better now that it's easier to move with them. And I love the Shujai. I love the lore of the Shujai. I love the concept art of the Shujai. I just have no idea how to fit into a list.
It's a cool unit, and it's really just like maybe it's not always supposed to be there, kind of thing. You know?
Yeah.
It's a mission specific situation, but that's and so what's interesting about this particular event that's going on, just to talk a little bit about it, 5-round event. The main thing that got my head just spinning with the list creation was that the opponent and me would get to know what the mission is, what the faction of the opponent is, and get to study the map before the game. So you get way more information in the virtual league than you would normally get in real life.
Yeah.
And every round you get to build a new list per that round. You're not even coming to the 5-round event with 2 lists. You just have to stay with the same faction, and you tailor a list to the mission, to the opponent, to the map every round. So that meant no matter what I played, that the opponent could tailor against that, and certain factions were more scary than others at how obvious your choices would be. But if you play vanilla, like vanilla Hakislam, it becomes a much more difficult question to know what they're going to bring, you know?
Yeah, and I think he did that less from an ease of gameplay standpoint, more from there's no way not to allow that, because people may just do it, and there's no way to know that they wouldn't.
Yeah.
So I think it's just an ease of organizer standpoint that is like, okay, you know the map, you know your mission, make the army when you know the map.
It's cool. It's different. And it was actually, according to Vol, community voted on. Actually, he had it polled, and it was something they had done in a previous format and I enjoyed. I was worried about as an Ariadna player. Funny enough, because Ariadna, part of our defense in a tournament environment is that everybody has to worry about everybody else.
Yep.
So out of their very 2 lists that they can bring, they're not going to bring stacks and stack of MSV2 viral weapons that attack BTS. Everything that we don't want to see is Ariadna. We want to be able to throw our smoke. We want our mimetism to work when we need it.
Flea asking, what is infinity?
Yeah. Well, this is on
178 years into the future. Cyberdom has basically taken over. Major corporations have taken over, and most nationalities, if we know it, have melted down. A nano war in World War III ravaged Earth, and a lot of the minor nations have grown to go to the stars. And from there, open warfare is no longer tolerated by the Concilium Convention, which is kind of a global interstellar power of the human sphere. And so shadow wars take place, where elite squads fight other elite squads for Black Ops missions.
So cyberpunk, but worse.
Yes, and it's very cyberpunk manga inspired, anime inspired.
I see that Chris joined us. Chris, can you hear us?
Yes,
Are you with us?
It's Chris.
Yeah.
Nice.
We hear you.
Got you.
Cool.
Good to have you, man. We were just getting into the main topic we were talking about right now is just building lists to the missions. And now that we have ITS Season 12, talking about the upcoming tournament league that's going to be going on TTS, and how I've over the holiday season really fell in love with Hakislam and just how much of a wide variety of tools they have at their disposal. and how the mission type at this event is tailor your list situation to your opponent, the map, and the mission. Funny enough, I actually ended up going Cosmoflot after toiling with all of the different Hakislam concepts that I thought I might want to do. I decided to say screw it and have a good time and run Cosmoflot. Because funny enough, I was finding solutions that they had. It was really interesting if you talk about designing a list, and I'd love to get some feedback here. But like when you design a list to a mission, typically you're looking for infiltrators, of course your specialists who are also infiltrators, hidden deployment. Those primarily are your get it done type of situations. I like parachutists and combat jumpers a lot. Usually look for those rules. What rules do you find yourselves filtering to accomplish button pushing, quadrant control? I feel like MSV2 is you're really setting yourself up to be in trouble if you don't have a solution to deal with heavy mimetism units, whether that be through CC or through hacking or whatever. Today I experienced for the first time Nomads bringing mimetism -6 linkable units. I had not experienced that before. They were like they count as Mormons or whatever. Moras.
Yeah. Oh, the Reverend Moras, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't used to.
They're a pain.
Yeah, they were. Apparently they're really expensive, but
they are very expensive, but very squishy if you can see through it.
Yeah, which I had none. We played a really weird match today.
I played against Brad once with a link team of them, and I spent I don't know how many orders trying to kill them without MSV, and it was ridiculous. I mean, I ended up losing guys, and I don't even think I took the link team out. It's insane. So I feel like you kind of have to have one MSV, even if it's MSV 1, it gives you something.
Yeah. I guess you've not played Steel Phalanx yet.
I know. No one really plays Steel Phalanx.
This is true.
Yeah,
not in our area.
That was my first game of Infinity. It's against Zach, and I thought at the time ODD that was the most broken thing. I'm like, what the hell? Every unit's -6
Use a flamethrower. Yeah, flame it. Not anymore.
The problem is they're all good on fizz, so they'll just dodge.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
I miss that mechanic. I used to be like, I remember in my Ariadna, I'd be like, I'm going to bring the Vet Kazakh that has the flamethrower for that one piece of backup if I come across that ODD or that...
or just the TO camo, you can burn stuff off.
Do you guys think it was that it's no big deal to have the...
No, things that had to ODD usually just died to the flamethrowers anyways, so it was a pointless addition to the rule.
Yeah. I liked how when you shot your heavy rocket launcher that you could land your hit but still lose the face-to-face and burn off it.
Yeah.
Like I miss that because I'd be like, go whatever, I don't care if I die. Get rid of that -6. I hate it. But yeah, it hasn't been that bad. I mean, there's solutions, and that's my solution for it in Cosmoflot is gonna be bears, which are great.
I mean, those bears are a good solution to a lot of things.
They really are.
Yeah.
One of the weirdest things we talked about over the last couple weeks was the Polaris team bear profile is such a strange profile.
I feel like it's bugged. Like it doesn't make sense the way it is.
I 100% agree. I double tapped on it a million times.
It's like you're getting Mirage 5 rules wise. You get the 2 models, but it just doesn't seem like it should be that way.
Stupid cheap. It's 32.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk for one moment on it. Okay, so the weird thing is that it's practically the exact same points as the individual Barapode, but you just get a free dude and everybody's regular.
That doesn't sound right.
That doesn't.
But maybe it is. I mean, maybe that's just how it's balanced.
All they have to do to make it make sense is they need to make the bear a peripheral control.
Like a dog warrior.
Or just make it very impetuous like the other ones.
Yeah, exactly. Or that.
Or not give him 5 armor.
Take its cover away.
That's the weirdest thing is to be able to get cover. I've never gotten cover with a dog warrior.
Yeah.
Right.
That's strange, but you can with a canine from a stray log canine unit, and that's just what it mirrors and what it makes more sense that it should be, and the fact that its partner is called the controller without it actually having the rule peripheral controller is really off-putting. You're like, are you trying to tell me something? You named it controller, like they name things NCOs and they name things lieutenants. They're not really NCOs or lieutenants. So it's just a weird profile, and I haven't yet to abuse the fact that it's a bear, armor 5 bear that can get cover, because I really think that feels abusive. How does this 32-point model that has 2 wounds and dogged, that moves fast as hell and is nasty in combat and with a flamethrower?
He had it in cover against me the other day. I mean,
It feels bad. It feels bad. No,
I was like, I'm shooting it, and I'm like, armor 5. I was like, oh, that's with cover? No, it's armor 5 base. I'm like, this is stupid, man. Like,
I want to see a fight of Bear versus Ajax.
Ooh. Yeah. Ajax just got to run up to it and hit it.
It's a big old wrestling match.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, the other thing that's nasty that I haven't really utilized with that profile too is that it's a Phys 16 and has a freaking grenades, and that can get pretty gross to throw those grenades on 19s or even spec fire them on 13s.
it's CC 24.
CC 24, baby, with Berserk.
It's a bear.
It's the bear.
And it's total immune too, so armor 8 with cover, like, yeah.
It's crazy.
That's a lot of orders to kill it.
Yeah.
So take 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Or yeah, at least work 2 in.
Another thing with Cosmoflot, after looking at them a whole lot, is the more I built lists with them, the more and more I struggle to be in love with the point costs of squeezing in Mirage 5. Like, I was at first like, oh, this is why I'm playing Cosmoflot. But then it became more and more like, nah, hell, I could just bring Paracommandos. You can bring 2 Paracommandos for the same amount of slots in your combat groups and save yourself 20-some points.
The difference is that Margot and Duroc can come on the backboard edge.
Yeah. It's
As
really,
a heavy infantry.
like exclusion zone maps, it's more tempting. Like, that's where I'm like, okay, because then you don't have that tiny little bandwidth of where you can land, you know? But yeah, and the fact that it's smoke once you get back there, that's pretty nice too. It's just still 66 points. That's 2 bears, like literally right there. That is your Polaris bear team and your Barapode. Like, when you trade those back to back, it's like, do I really need that? You know?
But it's a cool model.
That's fair. I'm definitely buying it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I think you've got other options in Cosmoflot.
I know.
When I ran when I ran Merovingia, I mean, that was in every list. Like, I wasn't playing.
Well, that's because Merovingia did not have a lot of things.
I mean, they had stuff, but like it was 4 chasseurs and Mirage 5. Like,
yeah. You know, that's something we said the other day.
But they didn't have bear pets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would take them if they had it.
Two wounds, like armor 5, totally immune. I mean, that's a lot to say. Well, I'll come in the back border. Granted, there's a lot of strategic value with that. You know, if you've been Van Zanted before,
right?
You know that there's power in that. So
yeah. Funny enough, so we know who we're at this on Tuesday. I'm going to play a gentleman in Poland who is going to play NCA from Pano against me, the Neo Terran, and I was studying them for the first time really and seeing how they had MSV3 and linkable MSV and
the Aquila.
Yeah, and then they had high BS, very high ballistic skill.
Pano.
It didn't look like I wanted to shoot it out with them.
No.
Pano's biggest Achilles heel is just asymmetric warfare. Doing weird stuff that they can't mess with. Like bears are going to wreck their day because they have no answer for them.
Their CC
Absolutely
is not good.
If you get into CC with them, they're done.
It's good.
Yeah, they're done.
I just got to get there, and sometimes those shooters could be really tough to take down. One thing that my buddy Will turned me on to is a great way to deal with those high BS Pano shooters is coordinated attacks.
Yes.
I just like, oh, that's a great solution. Why didn't I think of that? So I kind of got my mentality figured out. My list is built around some proper coordinated strikes to really try to take out the main guys that are holding down the delivery lanes, the lanes I need to deliver the bears on.
Yeah, I mean, the issue you're going to run into is their ARO pieces are probably going to be the Mimetism -6 pieces. So you probably just want to avoid them entirely.
Yeah.
And they don't have good zone defense. So, I mean, honestly, Margot and Duroc could very well completely wreck their day.
That's fair. That's fair.
Especially Duroc with his high CC. You just like that. That's a cool Aquila you got there. That's a nice MSV3. I really don't care because I'm ripping your head off.
Yeah.
Also, I mean,
Hey,
you
what's
gotta,
Quilla's CC value?
It's like
bad?
18. Like
Not even
it's
that.
Oh, they're
high-ish,
low.
but it's
they're,
not.
They're in the 15s. They're like mid.
Oh, really? Yeah,
they're-
it's not great. They
yeah,
are
dude.
shooters. That is all they
Yeah,
are.
15. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have HMGs, so he's not going to be good in close range anyways.
you might want to be on the lookout for a Swiss guard.
What is that? They don't have hidden deployment.
Yeah.
in there,
Yeah, they do. Hidden deployment, -6.
Yeah, Swiss
are
Guard
Swiss
do.
Guard in NCA?
Yeah.
I didn't remember seeing any.
They
I
were.
didn't remember them being in NCA.
Yeah, they're in there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep. I'm looking at them right now.
Fuck, that's a lot of armies that they have.
There's a
Goodness gracious.
there's a hacker with multi-rifle, an HMG.
Or
Oh,
a missile
and a missile
launcher.
launcher.
Oh yeah, Swiss Guard.
Okay, well that is something to take note of. I wasn't really thinking about
Yeah, it's
that.
BS-15.
Yeah, Swiss Guard missile launchers are popular ARO pieces.
Yeah, they're going to be committing a lot of points.
That's
They're gonna be
basically
putting a lot of
that's
points in
basically
it. They
knocked.
won't
Oh
win,
my
but-
god, it's 63 points. I see.
Yeah, I mean, I
Well, it's a heavy
typically-
infantry. It's Arm 5-2
Yeah.
wound. Yeah.
Yeah, when I
Fair.
played it, I usually played the
And
HMG one.
BS-15.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, like that sounds
Yeah.
scary, but it's so much investment.
It's so much investment, but
Yeah, so I mean, like, let's say he ends up going first, and I take 2 orders. Like, he's probably, if he takes a list like that, he's going to be already damn near probably limited insertion. You know, there's not like he has a lot of cheerleaders, right?
Fusiliers,
He could.
Yeah, that
do-
Fusiliers. Fusiliers are cheap. Cheap,
okay,
cheap, cheap, cheap,
10
cheap.
points, yeah.
10 points.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Somebody had already reached out to me in the community, be like, "Oh, you're playing that guy? He's pretty good. He's pretty good." It's like, shit. Okay, cool. But he's a gentleman and a scholar. So Tuesday at noon EST, 6 o'clock Poland time. You guys can tune in.
You got to
and
be on the
see.
lookout for Auxilia, too.
Oh, Auxilia. She's
Yeah,
the
that's what I was
MSK3.
looking at. I was going to
No.
say the little flame bot.
Oh,
Throwaway, totally.
Cheap specialists with flamethrower bots.
I see.
Yep.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
But I mean, yeah, I really think if you go into Margot and Dirac there, again, they don't have much zone defense. So if you can get people in their zone without having to deal with the aero pieces, you're going to have a field day.
Okay. Cool.
And, Dirac's total immune, so he can
Yeah.
probably try to bait out that missile launch and be like, "Cool, you shot me with a missile. I really don't care."
Yeah, that's fair. I wasn't really in my mind, in all my thinking, I wasn't really planning for that type of thing to jump out at me, and that would be a problem in the wrong spot.
Also, don't forget, Dirac is Fizz 16 with grenades and smoke grenades too.
Yes.
That's true. I could just straight up I could just get around a corner and start specking grenades on people if there was really a problem. With their Panos pretty
Yeah.
high armor, I'd want to take out the weak links in that portion of
Oh,
things.
yeah. You Fusilier link, you can just, I'm going to
Here's
drop
a
some
grenade.
grenades on you.
Yeah,
buddy.
Fusiliers are not good Fizz.
So that just reminded me of one of the funnest. Honestly, in Infinity, I had such a good time playing Brad yesterday. Whenever I used for the first time the Morat combat jumper that has explosion combat jump, it was my first time using it, and I forgot that I even had explosion combat jump on that unit. And Brad had moved Yara Haddad and a whole link team like up a flank where I was just naked on this flank. He was basically right up to my deployment line. I looked like he was unopposed and he like locked in, but he had his guys pretty close to each other in proximity. All of a sudden, combat jump explosion. I hit like 4 guys, and because they're a link team and he doesn't want to break it, he has to choose the dodge, and so I don't even end up getting ARO'd or like shot as I land. You know, not everybody made it with the dodge and takes the hit and sporting shotgun from there. It was a good time. In that countermeasure mission, we scored 12 classifieds over the course of 3 turns. That was high.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of action.
Yeah.
High action.
Yeah.
There was a Hail Mary at the end of that one that was from the very first moment of I had 5 orders at the end of the game, and it was literally the very first order I could lose the game, and every order I could lose. Out of the 5, I needed all 5 for it to work, and if any of it failed, I stood up and get shotgunned in the face by an impersonator. Like, that's the first move. It was tricky, and it worked out.
Yep.
It's something to behold. So that was a good time. But yeah, so Pano, I'm nervous. We'll see how that goes Tuesday. Tomorrow, Brad and I are both getting a game on with our friend Sean, who's the Corregidor player. He's been on the channel quite a bit. He wrecked me the other day on one of the bat reps playing Onyx with McMurrow. If you underestimate or disrespect McMurrow with an underestimation, she or he, in this case it was Miss McMurrow, because all his nomads are ladies. But man, she hurt me. I was sad that I didn't do a better job of giving her the respect she deserved. And
Dog faces are no joke.
Yeah, you must
No.
kill them. Saito Togans, old, what's that? The Piewell,
Zoe and Piewell.
Zoe and Pie.
You got any backstory on Zoe and Piewell, Zach? Tell us anything about
I mean, they've got some backstory. It's not huge. They're they used to live on Krigador, if I'm not mistaken. And she lost her mother and her parents. And some of the gangs on Krigador were hunting her down. She suffers from a degenerative disease that she's trying to get cured, and in so doing, degenerative disease is like eating parts of her, kind of like leprosy, which is why she's very synthetic, because as a part gets eaten away or there's tumor or something there, she replaces it with the machinery.
Whoa.
And she builds these pseudo AI beings, Piewell being the most recent one that she's gotten attached to, because Piewell actually has a pseudo AI in him. He's not a G servant of sorts. He can function on his own, which is why he's not G servant. He's his own order. But she essentially mentored in the Krigadoran shipyards, learned how to be an engineer there, became a brilliant engineer, until the gang started tracking her down and she moved on.
Whoa, that was brief but awesome. She's always a pain in my side when I see her on the table. She's very unassuming, kind of a bit and kiss kind of profile. But God, if Mike always doesn't crack me up by somehow being a pain in the ass with that thing.
I mean, I wish that she had a bonus program in N4 for assisted fire, because I don't want to take an Evo hacker now to give Piewell assisted fire.
Does anyone have a bonus program of assisted fire
No.
that's not an Evo hacker?
Bonus programs are so rare.
Yeah.
That's an only Evo hacker thing.
That's one of the things you can't filter in for is those like BS +1 damage, bonus hacking devices. You don't, or like Trinity is a bonus to your hacking device. You can't just search that. It's one of the you gotta actually check your profiles for this.
And then the with Army, I think you got to check profiles every week, because this week I was looking for looking into shot for lists, and I'm like, oh, it's a new profile for Miranda.
Oh, you think so? Like it just is just there's.
Well, they announce it on their
I don't even
patch
pay
notes.
attention to that.
Interesting. Yeah, I've never paid attention to that either. They're sliding in profiles. I wonder how regularly.
Where are the patch notes?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
it's pretty cool. That's something I'm going to look for. That'd be cool to be up to date on that. And yeah, to easily be able to catch things that you don't know. Yes. I'm interested. She's a pain in the ass. And while we're talking a little bit of backlog, let's talk about Wallace. I wanted to this week hear a little bit about William Wallace, especially talking about Cosmoflot. I don't know. I guess what spawns my interest in knowing about him is I don't know why he was in the Caledonians and now why he's leading the Cosmoflots. And
So that kind of ties into why Cosmoflot exists and how Cosmoflot exists as well. So
Okay.
Wallace himself was a product of Aleph during Project Eyelid, which was a undercover project to try to put a character into the Caledonian clans to kind of further foster their secessionist mentalities, because they're currently fighting the Kazakh government because they just don't want to be under the Kazakh government. So there's constantly infighting between the Caledonian clans and the Kazakh government. And so Aleph was like, well, let's just ramp this up and make it a problem. So they created Wallace.
Wow.
He was not originally Wallace. He was just Project Eyelid. I'm sorry, no, he was Wallace because they wanted to foster the freedom mentality. So they launched him onto the planet. Unfortunately, the launch had a lot of issues, and he got damaged really badly. Had memory loss, programs erased. He had some issues, and he was found in the frozen wastes. He declared himself as, I am William Wallace, and I'm here to lead you. The clans, of course, didn't take to him at all. Until he proved himself numerous times on the field of battle and shown that he was a great leader and B, a great fighter. Following that, he actually kind of worked with the Kazakhs to a point in helping to bring the clans together in a form that might work with them and form and broker some treaties and such. But he's still not trusted by the Kazakh government, which is why he's actually in Cosmoflot, because Cosmoflot is led directly by one of the Kazakh high commanders, who just doesn't trust Wallace in any regard. So he's trying to keep him as close to hand as possible and out of the Caledonian territories, where he can foster resistance and hatred towards the Kazakh government. So he's like, hey, Wallace, how about you help be a leader for Cosmoflot and be an astonishing soldier leader for us so that we do better
And
that I constantly have my sight on you the entire time.
Yeah. And William's like, okay.
And William Wallace is like, well, I'm technically part of the AEC, the Ariadna Expeditionary Corps, so I can't say no.
Freedom. Let's roll.
Yeah.
So that's cool, and I thought it was, the Varangians were another, there wasn't much to say about them, but like they're also floating around in 012. The same Varangians that are in 012, are they the same Varangians that are hanging out?
Yeah, the Varangians were founded by some Caledonian guy. And basically, he looked at the third wall and said, "Hey, look, Ariadna's a bunch of psychopathic crazies. So let's just make a psychopathic crazies mercenary group, and we'll call ourselves Ranging Guards for absolutely no apparent reason whatsoever." And then 012 was like, "Hey, we're a very high efficient and streamlined intelligence organization. So instead of taking all the SAS or Straylocks or anything that might make any sense to us, let's just take those crazy guys from the mercenary company, make a contract with them, because fuck, I don't know why not."
Yeah, because they're good. They're good at
I mean, they're really not is the issue. They just wanted smoke grenades.
Well, they're good at being motivated.
No, their background is entirely unoriginal.
Well, it spawns a few more questions about the characters that exist in. So, Unknown Ranger, you got anything on him? He's interesting.
He's unknown.
Yeah, exactly.
Unknown Ranger is a title given to a legend from the U.S. Ariadna to individuals who sort of are very special operative. He doesn't have much background besides he appears in the fight when he's needed, and he is a quintessential fighter. No one can best him. He appears to take down the targets, to rescue U.S. Ariadnan soldiery, and then disappears into the night. His background is very small. He always has a mask on. You never see his face.
Dude, he's Batman.
I mean, he's Captain America Batman.
Yeah, he's Captain Ariadna.
Yeah, he's Captain Ariadna. I don't know why they made him part of Cosmoflot, because his background is very amorphous, where it's not really a single person. It's the legend. You're fielding a legend.
Interesting.
So I'm not sure how they fit him in the Cosmoflot. They didn't really say anything in the Cosmoflot background either, besides a sentence of, "Hey, yeah, U.S. Ariadna has Captain Ariadna with us."
Sell more copies of the model.
Yeah.
Fair.
Oh, one thing I did enjoy actually going in the Cosmoflot. Cosmoflot's background is partially entwined with Wotan campaign and Ariadna's made-up story that they created in the Wotan campaign. Where in Wotan they were following their own little narrative that they created in their community to loot nomad ships and shipyards and stuff for abilities to create their own fleet, aka Cosmoflot. And it looks like CB did incorporate a lot of their narrative idea into this, because there's several paragraphs detailing the actions of their three high commanders, Kazboab and Karabay, and I don't remember what the third one is. Yeah. These are real people that exist. Karabay is in Sweden. Kazboab is, I think English. No, he's not English. He's Norse something. But yeah, these are real people that created a campaign narrative for their own people in Wotan, and that got incorporated into the Cosmoflots.
That's awesome. I love that.
Background. Yeah, it was really cool. I didn't know that until I read Cosmoflot's background.
So it seems like you had told me about in the past about campaigns that happen on a kind of a cyclic basis. Is there another campaign coming anytime soon? When does that happen? Is it?
It usually happens in the summer. Last year's I think was September-ish.
I think it was October.
Was it October?
Late.
It was really late if I remember right. Yeah. But yeah, we had
Is it ran by
they yes. Yeah, they are run by Corvus Belli and hosted on Beasts of War. Campaign website. First one was Flamestrike, the second one was Wotan, followed by Karagi Crisis, followed by was it Asteroid Blues? I thought there was another one. I think there's been 5. There might only be 4. But Asteroid Blues, which was the last one. And yeah, its population has declined over time, simply because CB treats it as a side project. They don't give it a ton of attention, but the people who are really involved in it really enjoy it. People go into these things expecting a lot, and they shouldn't. Mm-hmm. The idea is to sort of forge your own narrative, intertwine into the narrative that your faction is kind of bringing forth, and just sort of make the campaign your own. Because I know Asteroid Blues, no one paid attention to the provided storyline for Asteroid Blues. Not a damn person.
It was
all the factions
totally
had their own. Yeah, all the factions had their own narrative. Hakazlam and Ariadna got into just a beat down fight. As punishment to their actions on Wotan and Karagi Crisis, we decided we're tired of what you're doing. You need to get put in place. And then through that, in the second half of it, we actually reached out to them and said, hey, we see this narrative you're doing about looking for speculos and Shazvasti and stuff. And Hakazlam's narrative is we're also kind of investigating you guys for speculos and stuff, but several speculo players on the forums have been parading around as like Hakazlam diplomats or businesses working with Hakazlam. And we're like, well, as a capitalistic and economic venture, we can't just out these companies. So how about we make up intel that we give your people during battles between Hakazlam and Ariadna? So we started making up intel packets with various things involving the players who were speculo killers and Shazvasti agents, and like naming them in these intel documents and creating intel documents, and then passing them to the Ariadna and High Command players. I was like, hey, give these to your players and they can find them in their battle reports and add them into the narratives of their battle reports. And we kind of came together in that, where from an obvious standpoint, we were beating the fuck out of each other. But behind the scenes, the high command of the two factions were passing intel back and forth to include in their players' battle reports.
Yeah.
And that didn't follow the narrative at all for what they put for Asteroid Blues. Yeah. Asteroid Blues, they wanted everybody to just go down in the caves and hunt for a combined army like cells, and we're like, no, that's stupid. We're gonna make up our own thing. And everyone agreed that this stuff was so much better. And 012, the 012 players were really good at being 012 diplomats, because on the forums, I think you can still find it. There's pages and pages of diplomacy. Hey, we got go ahead from 012, where we actually asked 012 High Command, hey, from a diplomatic point of view, can we do this? This is our plan. And we got yay or nay from them. And we posted yay or nay. We provided briefs to 012 or Ariadna players. Like, everyone really gets in the role play of this and really plays into their role for these campaigns. And it's a lot of fun if you really go into that narrative, into that background, and kind of forge your narrative, to steal a saying from certain companies. to forge your narrative, to really make the campaigns your own. Because if you go into it just expecting something Corvus Belli, don't, because Corvus Belli doesn't do anything with them.
Yeah, it sounds really neat. I'd like to participate in that, and it seems like a lot of that story gets told via the forums and via the bat reps that people write.
Yeah. The bat reps, the forums. There are several folks who are well-known personalities, either for good or ill, that are in these campaigns that folks will usually follow.
Yeah, I see my buddy Bobby out there like, where's the 40K at? And I told him that, I was like, that's boring, Bobby. We keep it moving. He said, you're boring, George. Infinitely boring. Oh, I get it now. I just got the joke as I read it. That was good. He said, I love you, Bobby. Sorry, that's my friend from the UK wanting us to play 40K. But we're Infinity all the way right now, my friend. And
unfortunately, 40K is just dying off. It's not a good game.
It's certainly, man, hilarious enough today. Don't get me started.
Shots fired.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
just today I was cracking up because I heard people in the background I feel like it's just a never-ending story since 9th edition talking about the terrain rules, and it's nobody knows how the fuck to play the terrain in 40K. It's like everybody like makes up their own like, well, here's how we do it, or well, it says right here. Anyways, this Infinity is such a great game. Give it a try, Bobby. Give it a try.
40K is a game now made to sold minis. It's not a game made to be played.
I'll just for Bobby's sake and for somebody else, the Flea was wondering where the hell the 40K is. I figured out, I think, I had an epiphany of how I will play 40K again one day, and just for the funds. And I'm only going to play on like the bigger tables, like 8-foot tables. Going to play 3,000 plus games, putting all the super heavies down. Like, I'm not going to play it competitively anymore. I mean, I have friends that want to. Like, I'm gonna host events for the store because that's part of what I do here at Battlegrounds. But that's for everybody else to enjoy. Me myself, if I want to have a competitive good time, I'm gonna play some Infinity. But otherwise though, put beautiful models on the table. I'm gonna make up rules. I'm gonna do I'm gonna like the super heavies. I'm gonna have counter activations. I might do like the historical games, like put dice in a bag and draw a dice out, and that's what unit gets to activate. I'm just gonna make shit up.
Oh yeah, bolt action.
Yeah, bolt action. I'm gonna do the bolt action play on like super heavies. Basically gonna make shit up and have a good time. I'm gonna have fun, and that's the reason I think that's how that game will excel. I feel like for me again. But yeah, it's just a constant disappointment if you want to play it on a competitive level.
I got tired of remaking my guard every single edition.
Ooh, good one, Paint Flow.
Yeah, Paint Flows took me a second. I'm like, Infinity is larger than 40K. I mean, not really. It's a much smaller player base.
That was good. Oh man. Well, so anyways, back to the greatest game on earth. Bobby, that's why I play demons.
But yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see where Corvus Belli is going to go with their campaigns, because they've gotten a lot of pushback on their campaigns based on their lack of really attention to their campaigns. Like, they'll throw it up there, and then Heloise might put some things up now and then for it, but the complete lack of attention, the lack of thought in it. You get a lot of really good scenarios from the campaigns, because a lot of their scenarios use terrain rules or special rules or things like that. Frostbite came from the campaigns.
Yeah.
A lot of folks wait for the campaigns to see what the new scenarios will be. But yeah, their campaigns really suffer from their lack of attention.
Yeah, Asteroid Blues, they just sort of like released this stuff, and I think they were even late releasing the Wave 2. And it was
no, they weren't. They had 2 news articles, one to announce Wave 1, one to announce Wave 2 and the outcome of Wave 1. And that was it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It completely ignored everything that we were sending them, because they actually asked high commanders of each faction to say, hey, have a scribe, send us what you're doing, and we'll include it in our news reports. And they just completely ignored it.
So
just
out
all
of the 4 or 5 different times they had done the campaign, which year was really the peak of like Corvus Belli being? It sounded like that one year where they literally built some lore off of what happened in the campaigns.
Wotan was good. I think
Wotan
was
before
really good.
It was really good.
Wasn't that the first one?
Flame Strike was the first one.
The one that was on the Ariadna,
Karagi Crisis.
Karagi Crisis. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
Karagi Crisis was
Yep.
really good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Wotan was good. I think the issue is they didn't know when they wanted to end it because I think they wanted like a phase 4. It was like a 2-month campaign.
Yeah.
By that point in time, everyone was
Wow.
like, "We're kind of done. Tap
Yeah.
me out, coach."
Yeah.
So Karagi Crisis was a good one. It lasted long enough that everyone wanted more, but it had a good closing, and it had a good amount of attention. Asteroid Blues was completely phoned in.
Yeah. Tanako
Yeah.
agreed with you. He said he beat me to it. Looks like. Also, hey guys, yeah, good to see you out there, Tanako. Good to see you again. Thanks for joining. Yeah, well, that's
Yeah,
all
I don't,
very cool.
I don't know
like to-
what they'll do for the future.
Yeah, I'm curious of that. I'd like to participate. It sounds really neat. Well, so like I know that we're not all the biggest fans of TTS because we like putting the models in our hands and hang out with real people, get out of the house.
You know
and
how
all
much I convert.
that. But one of the cool things about TTS is how immersive you can get with the environment. I've always thought about like, you know, how you could really tell. There's so many awesome maps in the TTS environment. I'm blown away jumping in this league. I put in like 500 hours in Tabletop Simulator, but it's all for Games Workshop games. So it's new to me to explore the Infinity community on there. And I am blown away by the dedication of the people of how we took our 2D models from Corvus Belli and everybody has now input their 3D models into the game via their rendering their actual painted models, which is just amazing.
Yeah. I saw one of Vol's tutorials for that. I'm like, oh wow. I mean, it's not hard. It's just time intensive.
Yeah, and it's already, I mean, practically across the entire game is done for you already. You're just using other people's models, of course. If I had to guess, maybe something with Caecilium Earth or Silverhema.
Yeah, Tanako. I feel like they're setting up whatever that subcontinent of Concilium is to be the next campaign because it's got all of the players in it, so it's just ripe and set to be the next campaign.
Nice.
I don't think they're ever going to do Earth. They have quite specifically gone away from Earth.
Yeah, is there?
But yeah, I did Vol's one of Vol's campaigns. I think way back in like June or something. And the maps can get really interesting. One of the maps we played on was this indoor map with a breach in the side, and one part of the map was just nothing but like crates floating around that you could put characters on.
Whoa.
And if you went into the area, unless you had 0G, you get really screwed from a terrain perspective.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of theory crafting on how to take advantage of that.
Yeah, it creates some interesting. Yeah, you can't really have like floating around in space, like jumping from meteors and shit in normal life. So you can really get creative with the virtual world. And I think if you just explored kind of like a dungeon master, all those different maps and kind of arranged a campaign around playing in those environments, you can almost build a story as those maps go from one to the next. Which I thought was really cool. And what I noticed from Vol and just people of that is running around in the Infinity community are making very cool maps that are for particular missions. There's been a big resurgence of play going on with the season 12 pack popping out, and of course phase 2 of the Infinity armies. I have a board actually right here. Here's the round 1. This isn't the greatest picture as it's just a top-down view, but I've been studying this map as this is going to be what we play on Tuesday. You can see the lighting effects a little bit as we look at the overhead, and one of those weird scenario things like you just mentioned, Zach, is we're actually going to play at the board extends beyond the 48 by 48. You can see the parking lot in the top and that little sliver down at the bottom. Those are actually playable areas on this map.
Interesting.
So that'll be a little strange. I'm gonna have to talk with the opponent as far as like how parachutists work, and I don't think you should be able to shoot across the empty space, but I don't know. So there's gonna be some questions to discuss with the opponent.
Yeah.
But it's part of the intrigue there. But yeah, I've found it really cool, all the different stuff that's out there, and I recommend it to anybody that's wanting to learn or get better or have people to play with, and you don't necessarily have a community to play with. Then you can definitely find it in the virtual realm. There's a lot of players that I've been finding on the Discords and stuff like that as well. They don't necessarily even get to play in real life, but they are super versed on the rules. A lot of times they're the bat rep watchers. Most of the people that watch our bat reps that I see in our comments are also very vocal on the Discord forums too. And they're very well versed. It's nice to get to see them getting very detailed in some of these rules. I swear to God, sometimes I'm like, are you just verbatim spitting that out of your head, or are you like looking it up and telling me how I got it wrong after you like verified it and gave me like really precise breakdowns, or do you just know it all, you know? So I think you guys know a lot more than I do most of the time. Ramble, and yeah, fun. The other thing about the map that I will mention is on there you're seeing some MicroArt Studios terrain, and that's been something that just went down today, and over the last week we've been posting a lot of MicroArt Studio terrain on our videos because they were awesome enough to send us some terrain. Let's see, here's a picture here. Here's an up close of the District 5 set that they sent us of some of the snack stands and these podiums here in the apartment buildings. Here's a top down of one of the boards.
Snack.
I love how the IP is integrated.
Oh, I love those. I didn't notice those.
Oh yeah, the snack things.
Yeah,
Oh,
those are great.
Solar shakes and cupquakes, macho nachos.
You see the one of the billboards or the signs that's got the Frostbite mission name on it.
Oh, it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah. Nah, pretty cool. Pretty cool.
nice.
Great.
I was trying to find it. Yeah, we just did a cool unboxing video. Go check it out, and it's I'm excited about it. Oh yeah, there's that thumbnail there. Brad also is getting some terrain. Speaking of, what company is this, Brad? The stuff that you got here on the right.
Oh man.
Just some stuff that you had gotten in the past, and you just got the more of it.
No, it's new.
Oh, is it come the way it looks in the picture? Or is it unpainted?
No, you could get it pre-painted. I'm gonna start painting the other terrain, so I got it unpainted. So I wanted to, match the other ones.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting. I can't wait for even more terrain to be featured on the channel. I just sent MicroArts our video of unboxing everything. See if I can try to get some of those ITS tokens and
And
stuff.
I should be getting a second set for Christmas.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I can't tell you how happy I am that my opinions changed on the N4 cover rules. When originally we heard the N4 cover rules, I'm like, this is the stupidest thing ever. Like, why are they doing this? Cover worked the way it did before. But now that I'm seeing like tables folks are coming up with how the new cover rules works, I'm like, okay, complete change of opinion. I love these new cover rules because these tables are getting really imaginative.
Yeah.
And they already were imaginative. Now they're getting more imaginative.
Speaking of that,
Yeah.
your point you had made on our chat thread earlier this past couple of weeks came into play a lot now that it's got my mind realizing that you don't just get, because a lot of times too, people were, when first came out with that rule, people were making fun of it, kind of like your first impression. They were like, oh, so I'm going to stand on this box and haha, cover. And it's,
I'm a foot above you and I got covered. It's
yeah.
like, no.
But yeah, you had pointed out that the detail is that you actually have to have your silhouette above their silhouette.
Yes.
So that makes it a little bit more tricky. You can't
Like
just,
fully above.
Yeah.
Not just I'm above your knees. Ha ha ha.
So
Yeah.
this makes things like tags and things like
Suck
that.
it, hobbits.
You can't just easily get cover from a tag standing on the first floor of a building. If it's silhouette 7 or 8 and standing at the same height as your feet, then you're not above it and you're not getting cover.
Yeah.
And that can really that's started to
Unless
have
you're
some
up
effect.
up against that wall.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, you better get up against that railing. No more hiding in the middle. Or you could go prone again, I guess, like old days, prone at the edge kind of thing.
Well, I mean, their silhouette's still above you, so
Yeah.
Yeah, fair. Yeah.
Yeah, if there's no railing.
Yeah.
if a box of your silhouette can draw a line of sight to all of them, they got no cover.
Tanako just said your favorite meme too, Zach. He said,
Yes, I love that meme. I
Yeah.
need to find someone in the community who can draw that.
Yeah,
I
you
will
wanna commission
buy.
it. Yeah.
I will buy like a 3x4 foot painting to hang on my wall of a Magri Begard hiding behind a fire hydrant.
Oh, man,
I swear I will.
That whiteboard behind you right now, if that was that would be a really good
Yes,
backdrop.
it will replace that.
Yeah, that would be great. You heard it here, guys. We need it. Holler out.
I will pay up to $200 for that.
Bam! Get to painting. Get to painting. Let's go. Oil, watercolor, whatever. Let's make it nice. Dang, I want to see that too. I haven't seen that meme, so you're gonna have to post it in the thread after this.
Well, that's just the meme. I mean, it's not an actual
Image?
painting. It's just that was the first meme that popped up in words.
Oh, they just took
when
Maggie and they
yeah.
photoshopped a fire hydrant in front of it.
No, it's all been
Just
words.
words.
There's
Just
no actual
words, no
picture.
pictures.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I could Photoshop something.
No, I think White Noise said it first about like a Maggie Bagard hiding behind a fire hydrant, but I mean, everyone thought it when it originally came
it's
out.
Hilarious.
You take the biggest model and hide it behind the smallest thing.
Now that you can do.
Yes, you can. You can
Yeah.
hide a little flower pot. That's all you need.
Yeah.
I mean, it can block some shots.
Yeah, come on. Come on. Oh, you're shooting me with a rocket launcher? Well, that's a template. Okay. I'm still armor 8 or whatever. Is it armor 8 on Maggie or 9?
Yeah,
It's
8.
Armor 8.
Yeah. Take that.
Hey.
There's a Photoshop of that. Rob Cantrell mentioned that, I believe. Nice. Yeah.
Is there a Photoshop?
I want to see that.
Nice.
I'm gonna do some digging. But yeah, dang, this show's gone by quick with all the fun stuff we talked about. Is there anything?
We always have more to talk about than we have time.
That's a good thing. It's a good thing. Before, I guess if anyone out there watching right now, Tanako, if you guys have any questions you'd like to see us sign off with, and we can
Thoughts,
definitely,
opinions.
yeah, definitely jump in on a subject here. It is on Infinity Crypt posting, but further back, I think. I'm gonna dig for it. We need to, hopefully, somehow, this show spawns that Zach's willing to pay $200 to get one painted by somebody. So get it together.
Oh
Let's
yeah,
go.
I mean, I will pay for some real art on that.
I would love to see that. Oh my God.
I mean, I can do a
I would-
crown drawing.
Crowns. Okay.
I would love it. I would love it.
The daughter and I can get together and do some crown drawings.
Yeah, get some crayons.
May not be $200 worthy, but
We're taking submissions. Admin at warpchargegaming.com.
Yeah, if you want some more lore on the Shujai, that's a fun one.
I'm curious. Yeah,
Because you like the Shujai.
Let's close out
So
with that.
so the Shujai is new. The Old Man of the Mountain was seeing, of course, as war is ramping up and assassins are taking increased casualties. Of course, it takes a long time to train a veteran specialist, someone who knows their art, who knows how to be an operative. So the Old Man of the Mountain looked at the data cube bank and was like, hey, there's cubes in there. You know what's also in there? A bunch of specialists from all other nations that aren't getting resurrected. So what if we just went in there and said, hey, you're not getting resurrected anytime soon, but you have skills we could use. So how about we resurrect you? You swear allegiance to the Assassin Order. You don't have to follow our religion, but you do have to swear allegiance to the Assassin Order, and you work with us.
oh,
And so there's Yujing operatives, Pano operatives, not Aleph, because Aleph has their own stuff, but there's operatives of multiple other nations that are essentially resurrected in the Assassin Society as Shujai.
but they're not Pano. They're Whip 14, so
Well, remember that part about they getting trained by the Old Man of the Mountain?
yeah.
They actually got trained.
Oh, okay, okay.
That's pretty cool. That's cool. I like them a lot. I really want that Shakush. Is that the model? What's the new
The
tag?
Shakush, the new tag. Yeah,
You're gonna proxy one out of a Blue Wolf or convert one out of a Blue Wolf.
I'd love to. Yeah,
That'd be
whenever
sweet.
they come out.
I bet the model's gonna be cool too. It's
The
gonna-
Shakush is funny because the Shakush essentially is just a working robot that they're like, hey, let's just increase the hydraulics and give it a gun. Done. Here you go.
It's
Like
very-
it
very important.
was never created from the ground up as a military vehicle. It was a like dock working tag that they used to load ships and stuff. And they're like, that'll work.
I like him. I like his profile a lot. I think it really it gives a iguana a run for its money as far as making a choice on which one you bring to the field.
Yeah, especially in Assassin when it can run with Yara, take that AP Spitfire and just pop it down in the center of the table.
Totally.
Strategic deployment, Yara.
Ooh. That sounds very Nomads though. I can see
I
that.
mean, it does. I mean, Hakazlam and Nomads are very close. They get ideas from each other.
Yeah, fair enough. When you were mentioning Earth a minute ago, I feel dumb because I'm pretty very sparse on my knowledge here of the lore here, but the Earth, that is where like Pano and Aleph and normal humankind like hangs out at, right? Like Hakaslam's on Earth too.
Aleph, no.
Yeah.
Earth, for the most part, I mean, it still exists. The nation still exists. There's still Australian stuff, all part of the Pano nationality. But a lot of the older major powers during the World War III or Nano Wars or whatever you want to call it, just decimated themselves. They're third world countries. There's rolling blackouts across the United States and Russia.
Yeah.
They're not great places. And which is why Pan-Oceania, Hakazlam, Yujing, they all left Earth. Founded capitals on Neoterra for Pano or Borak for Hakazlam. Just because Earth is not great anymore. It's resource drained. It's full. There's nowhere for them to expand, so they expanded into the.
It's a hole.
Yeah, and we found other planets.
The Knights of the Holy Sepulchre are actually based on Earth. I think they're based in Jerusalem. I don't remember exactly, but they're based on Earth, where they defend a lot of the original holy sites, because the Vatican is still there. A lot of the religious big areas are still there.
Wow.
Yeah,
really?
like Tanaka says, it's more of one big ghost town.
Yeah, museum ghost town. So nomads are not on a planet. They're flying around in their ships.
Yeah,
But
Corregidor was originally a prison that was built in orbit to store prisoners who didn't fit on Earth because there was just too many prisoners. So they created Corregidor, which was a prison, put it in orbit and put it there. Eventually, I believe they were bought out, and then Corregidor was cut off, and they just sort of fashioned their ship out of the prison and were like, bye.
What was that? Well, I think I'm mistaken, but I thought like Druze was on Earth, but no, I don't think.
No, the Druze are not on Earth.
Okay.
And so
I mean, they are the Druze religious order on Earth nowadays.
Okay, yeah.
But I don't believe they have any connection, because there's absolutely nothing that is similar between the Druze in Infinity and the Druze on Earth as it is.
yeah. So just to sum up on a little bit on that, Neoterra is kind of where Pano lives. There's a planet that Hakaslam lives. Nomads are flying around in ships, and Ariadna's on Dawn.
Yep.
Ariadna's on the Dawn system. Ariadna technically owns 4 planets
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
and an asteroid belt.
Man, that's so cool. There's so much to know, and I feel like I'm
Yep.
still,
Yeah, the 3 other planets are currently leased out to nomads in Hakazlam because Cosmoflot's still new. So Cosmoflot owns like a Corvette and a couple gunboats, and that is their fleet. And they mostly just patrol with Nomad and Hakazlam support in that patrol, and
Yeah,
O12 support in that
It's
patrol.
weird. Like, I don't have a lot of gumption inside to like. I know some of you guys really like role playing games, but like Dungeons and Dragons, like whatever. I don't really get excited about the idea of being a bard or bard 3.0 million or the barbarian, whatever. But I get really into the idea of like role playing inside the Infinity environment. It sounds awesome. Sounds like
Yeah, the RPG's pretty good. It's very strange to switch to when I'm used to Pathfinder and D20 games like that.
Yeah.
It just doesn't click. But it's good, and there's a lot of lore in that game. A lot of lore.
It just seems fun to play around with all those. Like even just talking about hunting speculos and stuff like that. Like that all is just hilarious and awesome, and it seems like really ramped up on the outside the norm of what I would usually be thinking about of like in your bag of tricks as a fantasy medieval kind of guy, you know.
It's also important to realize speculos are just a very small number of what the speculo agents are,
Yeah.
which are just a bunch of people who transform into humans. Speculo killers are not actually very common. Speculo agents are very common.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, like just trying to infiltrate the government and stuff. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. Speculo agents that may not even be combatants. They'll just have a pistol or something. They're there to just wreak
Sometimes
havoc.
Maybe just open the door sometimes for some other fellows.
Yeah, that's exactly how it is. They're just Trojan horses.
Yeah. Man, it's awesome. Well, let's go ahead and close out for this week. It's been a good hour here. Tanako, great to have you as usual. Love seeing your input. Sorry to our friends that want to see some 40K. Maybe one day you'll see some large APOC games for just the funds of it all. Yeah, and everybody else that catched on the back end, thanks for watching. Lots of bat reps to come. There's going to be some battles tomorrow.
Yep.
There's going to be some battles Tuesday as I do the first round 1 of the Vol SC campaign. And we got more to come. This Sunday after next, we'll be doing it again. And pretty soon we'll be getting out of 2020 and moving into next year. Can't wait for that. Yeah, see you later, Tanako. See you, everybody. Keep taking fun seriously, and we'll catch you next